And again, here also on the Defender for Cloud side of it is a regulatory compliance. So you can start to say that this requirement for ISO or SOC or whatever that might be, has specific requirements, and this will tell you. And as you make changes to it, some of the policies, by the way, it'll tell you some things don't get captured for another 12 or 24 hours. Other ones will be immediate. So if you look and clicked on one of these and it said, oh, you have these things, if you fix it, we'll update the score. Okay, but now you get a history of the score. So you can download it directly. There's other tools that we've created, some tools to export it, on a frequent basis so that you can have a snapshot at some point. Auditors know that things happen and things adjust and whatever. They just want to see that you saw it, communicated, you took action, saw it again, you validated, you're good. But it allows you on a periodic basis to make sure things are happening. And these are things that we have a service called Agile Max for infrastructure that we continuously want to look at these things. In some areas, we know we can just fix on our own. We talk about customers and improve our own books. Others, we have to get the involvement like, hey, do you know you did this? That yes, okay, but this is what the score is. But the main thing here is that this score and information is happening across your different infrastructures and platforms, so that you can see how are you measuring up to stay on pace. Because it's a big question customers have, not only with what they do in Microsoft 365, but certainly with their infrastructure, and combined, you need to know where you are in terms of your footprint. So again, still getting this benefit of doing these things, and I haven't had to change my overall infrastructure and doing what's there. So this part here, in terms of the inventory part of it, a lot of this comes, there's the Azure automation, but there's the inventory side of it here. I may want to find out what applications do I have that I'm servicing across all of my different servers, right? And this could be important because sometimes, like just fun story where whenever I talk to customers and they say, oh, we have this application that we need. It's like, where is it deployed? Who manages it? When's the last time this? Like, I don't know. I have to ask somebody. I think it's this server. So let me log in. I'll remote desktop and see if it's in the start menu. Let me, SSH and use PuTTY, and let me go find this out, because that's the easiest way that they can do it. But what just happened there? You're working on the memory of people. You having to have direct access, and you're not able to aggregate that view of it. So what if we have a bigger question that we have involved in terms of updates that we need to happen? What changes have happened during that period of time? Who made those changes? Much harder to deal with. We in the IT industry try to do as best we can through written and communicated, a process, but that often breaks down because when there's a sense of urgency, those things tend to go out the window. We try to catch up and we don't. So, again, still means that we have to do the right things inside of the environment so we can have these kind of managed environments and collect that information and organize in the way that's right and audit it. But now we don't have to do it across, different platforms. Let me log in to Nutanix. Let me log on to this server over here. Let me go to, GCP and let me see what that server is doing and what it has over there. And I've had to buy 3 different tools because they're different. I mean, it's just a headache, and the whole thing is like, I just need a question answered. So the ability to have it there is great for the IT person. From the business side of it, it reduces risk. Right, the less things that I have to manage, both licensing and support, train, people transition, train them again, and which means I have a gap of capability. And if I can put more into a consistent system, without having to affect the overall, architecture, because that's always the biggest fear and cost, the better it can be. Now, all of this data that you're able to start to do, whether it's in Defender for Cloud and you have this data, you can start to layer on other things, right? So this is the things, like you get it connected, you see what's there. You start to collect information around compliance policies. You start to set policies around security. Now I can start to say, well, can I start to tag and label data that is stored in an Azure cloud or stored someplace else? And can I start to label them directly using Azure Purview, which is really the compliance features. So this is things where you see like Compliance Manager, that was kind of part of it in one area that it collects. Purview is a whole big thing, but it can actually do understand your data estates, especially when it's in here. You can see in blob instances, but also SQL. So you can start to collect that thing. So anyway, integration with Purview is there that you can start to leverage ongoing, even if your servers are on-prem. So again, you start to look at, as you stack these things together, oh, that's weird, that thing slid over. As you start to add these pieces together, where I can start to really not only have a unified view, start to collect information, but start to protect them for these specific services that you see here, and growing, which has been pretty Pretty impressive.